Good morning, everyone. It's August 24th, 2009, Monday. We are seeing some southwest swell. We've been seeing it all week, and today I'm expecting to see an increase in that. We're seeing some 17-second periods just starting to come through right now. That should be filling in better throughout the day. Expecting that southwest swell to fill around over the next few days as we see another burst then comes up by Wednesday. Should be seeing, though, some smaller surf thereafter. I wanted to show you why all that's going to be getting smaller next week, but amazingly, some new things around the models I wanted to show you today. We've got some action in the northern hemisphere, and one from a typhoon, of all things that's in the western Pacific, that should circulate around and bring us some northwest swell. So we're looking at two types of northwest swells coming our way toward the end of the month. Wanted to show you why that, and also we're in for somewhat of a heat wave by the end of the week. Wanted to show you everything that's going on with that, and this is what's happening right now. Starting out looking at the weather models, we can see that Southern California is positioned between high pressure to the east. That's shown more or less in blue. Low pressure right around us right now because of some troughing that's over the region. That's shown more or less in those little red blotches over our region with some isobars just starting to dip into our region. Low up in the Gulf, get to that in just a second. Moving though the models forward in time, we can see that there's really not a whole lot happening around Southern California, but we are starting to see more of that blue, that high pressure move toward our area. That's going to be warming things up. In fact, by the end of the week, we should start seeing a lot of high pressure right over top of Southern California, something we'd really expect to see this time of year. So it looks like we're going to be in for a warm-up near the end of the week. That also means that we could see a slight increase in afternoon on shores as we get some of that diurnal flow, where the hot temperatures are heating up the inland areas, and of course then the colder ocean temperatures, the water, the air over that starting to fill in. If you notice too, we've got that low pressure system up in the Gulf, and that's going to mean something in the way of swell coming to Southern California in just a little bit. Shifting now to the wave analysis models, a lot of interesting stuff happening here in the northern hemisphere, although it may not look like it since there's not a lot of red on there. You can see there's a little bit of wind fetch off of to the north of Southern California, the little small Gulf system, not much, minor activity in the tropics. Interestingly enough, though, Typhoon Vamco, way over there by Japan, that's going to be circulating around if models have it right. So I wanted to show you why that could actually be bringing us some northwest swell. Let's move the models forward in time. We can see that Vamco would start moving up toward the north, and as it does, more toward the Bering Sea, it would be crossing the Bering Sea. We'd have a little bit of also northwest reform out in the Gulf from that minor activity that I was showing on the weather models and earlier on the 0 hour WAM. As we move the models more forward in time, we can see that we'd have more of an ETA from that first Gulf around the 8:30 time frame, and then Vamco crossing over the Aleutians into the Gulf with 25-foot seas. That's a 120-hour model. Still too early to call that, but it looks if that happens, then we could see some surf coming our way probably about the 1st of September out of that one. And northwest swell right now is good news. Looking at the southern hemisphere, it's a blank. Nothing really going on right now. That's bad news for any swells we're expecting. Near term takes a good week for it to come up our way. Moving the models forward in time, not a lot of action happening. Keep an eye, though, on New Zealand. A little bit of stuff to the east of it, a little bit of stuff to the west of it. But as we move the models even forward more in time, 60 hours out, we can see that fetch that would be forming near New Zealand moving more toward the south. Not a lot of hope on that. Taking a look a little farther out, though, on the horizon. 72-hour models show a little bit of activity in the Tasman Sea. Real tough for us in Southern California, though, to get anything out of these systems. Looks real impressive when you see it on the models. In all actuality, once you run the numbers on this, it really doesn't look all that favorable for Southern California for the long range. Before wrapping things up, too, you might have heard me mention quite a bit here lately about the Twitter reports I've got going on. I issue these automatically from my free forecasting site, wavecast.com. You can always follow these reports at twitter.com/wavecast, and these will be updated twice a day, sending you the swell heights around Southern California. That's twitter.com/wavecast. So that's how things are looking right now. We are expecting to see a little bit more southern hemisphere fill in today, so we should be seeing an increase today. Another burst comes in Wednesday, but altogether we should be seeing just a good steady flow of solid southern hemisphere swell lasting through at least Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, that's starting to back down. Then it looks like we're going to start seeing some northwest swell move in, so it looks like around the 30th we'll see a first burst move in. If everything does work out right, that'd be form that northwest reform. Then it looks like we could see something out of Typhoon Vamco as it comes around, crosses the Bering Sea and crosses the Aleutians, comes into the Gulf. That's 120 hours out, though. That's a long-range simulation, but we could be seeing something out of that around the 1st. Doesn't look to be epic by any means. And as far as the rest of the southern hemisphere is concerned, that's looking pretty weak, so those northwest swells would be welcome in the way of waves. So that's it for right now. If you always want to check out my latest ETAs on all the swell, wind, weather, tide, and more, you can always check out my SoCal Surf Report at wetsand.com. And, of course, you can always, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, check out my free free forecasting service, wavecast.com. Until next time, take care and smile in the lineup.